Hello everyone, this is Jeff. I'm teaching the EDL 680 course, Personalized Learning and Leading with Technology. It's a seminar course, so it's not part of the core classes you'll be taking that will add on the credential along with your master's, but it should be a fun course for you, and I think it's a nice balance with the EDL 600 course that you're taking. So I'm looking right now at Blackboard in a student view, and as you can see, the announcement that you all should have received yesterday. When I do announcements, I have them both show up in Blackboard, and it should email the email that you've logged into the course with. And this talks about what I expect for this week. This week's pretty easy. I just want you to get your feet wet. I want you to play with some of the tools. What you'll find with my course is I'm really focusing on the experiential aspect of learning, and I want you to do and to play before we get into any kind of real theoretical look at the background on why we're doing what we're doing. So I want you to just enjoy some of the tools, get used to it, make sure you get your website up and running. So I'm just going to give you a couple minutes here going over, making sure you understand the way I'm going to use Blackboard and some of the tools that I expect you to use and what they look like. So this is Blackboard. I'm looking at a student view, so when you get into EDL 680, this is what you should see. And if I use the drop down arrow in the upper left here, that should open up everything that's available to you. My view is obviously a little bit different. I've got a link to the syllabus, so if you click on that, it should take you to the syllabus, and that is of course on a Google Doc, so feel free to process the syllabus. It's got a pretty good overview of most of the assignments and some of the readings, and I'll talk about those here in just a second. So the syllabus is there for you to look at. I also, for those that either attended the orientation on May 15th or you watched it online, I linked to the website that I created for you, and this is it right here where we went over how to create a Weebly website, so the instructions are there. And I ask you to fill out this Getting to Know You survey, which should have looked a lot like this, where I took some information about you personally at the top. And then I said that you need to ensure that you look over the survey first before you submit it to me, because I want a Gmail account from you that you'll be using. I want the actual website address copied and pasted here. So that means you would have to have created your Weebly website and published your Weebly website. That's one of the tricky parts about getting that website for the first time, is you do need to publish in order for me to see it. You do need a Twitter account, and I ask that you give me your Twitter handle, which is that @ symbol. And I also encouraged all of you that in Twitter and Instagram and some of the other things that we'll be using, that you think about a unified web presence. And I gave you the example, like I'm jheil65 for pretty much everything, and it gives me a web presence, and also it's pretty easy for me to remember when I go to log into places. I'm going to ask you to give me an Instagram account, and you're going to see we're going to do a project with that. And you'll have a Google Plus profile link. And the reason that I really want the Google Plus is to utilize the community that we're going to be using. If you're not familiar with social bookmarking or content creation, that's not a mandatory question. So you can just leave that blank if you don't have anything. And of course, we'll discuss this much further on down the line. But those are that's what I need from you this week. And then we will have a virtual class on Monday. And if I look at the announcements here, I ask you to two things. I've given you a link to the reading, which is pretty much, it's called a book, but it is by Will Richardson. It's called Why School. You can see it's a whopping $2.99 for the Kindle price. I've read this thing 3 or 4 times on my phone. You can put it on, you can read it from, you can get a Kindle web app for your Chrome browser. You can read it there. If you have a Kindle, you can download it to that. So you do not have to have a Kindle to buy the Kindle version. You can read it on your phone. You can read it on a tablet. You can read it on your computer. It's $2.99. I think it's like a 40-page, pretty much it's like an essay that will hope to get you thinking about doing schooling different and thinking about the way kids learn and how we might change our practice a little bit. So that was also linked, same Will Richardson text that was linked here. I've given you a link to the Google Plus community here. It is a private community, and here's what it looks like here. It's the SDSU SDCOE Collaborative MA program cohort. As of right now, I have 11 members, including myself. So if you see yourself, Andrea just asked to join, so I will approve her. So what we have now are 11 of you, so I'm missing a good chunk of you. All you need to do is go in, click the link from this website here, and you just need to ask for permission to join. And what it will be for us is it will be hopefully the platform that you'll use to communicate throughout the MA program. As you can see, Kristen used it without even being prompted exactly the way I want you to use it. This is a place for you. It's a private community, so only your professors and you all will be able to see posts that are in here. The community can never be made public, just so we're clear on that. But she mentioned to all of you that Chula Vista Elementary School Board and Sweetwater Union High School Board will meet this week on Tuesday, which I think is today, and tomorrow. So if you wanted to get one of these to prepare for EDL 600, you can talk to her. So this would be a great place to start communicating with each other. And I'll talk more on Monday about how to utilize this community well, but I'll show you real quick how it's been used in cohort 1, and they're still using it. As you can see here, people are still utilizing this even when they were in between classes. So they're still using it to communicate, they're using it to share things that they've done, things that they find, and it really has become a vibrant community for them, and a space in which they can not only share some of the cool things that they would also share publicly, but perhaps ask some questions that they would want to share privately. And inside of this community, I will also link to other things for us on this. So in Blackboard, I've got the link to that survey again, a link to the Y School again. It's also on the orientation webpage that I've got there for you. Also, we are going to be meeting mostly on Mondays. I sort of have a crazy schedule, and it'll change this summer. I won't be doing a lot of day work, but I'm doing a lot of traveling. So Monday, any time, I'm pretty much open after around 5 o'clock. So I've given you a little survey, and I will go with the will of the group. I tend to like doing them later in the evening where people can sort of get home, maybe eat, put their kids to bed, and relax. So last cohort, we did them at like 7:38, and they usually last like an hour. So you all just feel free to click on this survey and throw your 2 cents in on when you would like to meet. But we will be having, and I will again send a reminder through the announcements in Blackboard, that what time we'll be meeting based on the survey data that you all provide to me. So it will be, as I think you all met tonight with Laura and Jose, it will be basically, I call it virtual class / office hours, and I'll record it inside of Adobe Connect so that you don't have to be there. We're not going to, I don't require your attendance because I record it. But if you want to interact with your peers, or you want to interact with me in a somewhat synchronous manner, it would be great for you to attend. If you can't, we do expect that you watch them though. So this is, I'll go over Blackboard real quick. I want to hopefully let you get about your week. We've got the announcements. I've linked the syllabus. I've linked to the orientation webpage. If you read the syllabus, you'll see one of the assignments that you'll be doing is a choice book. You'll be choosing a book to read that applies to the course themes and topics, and you'll be writing a series of blog posts on it and then doing a final review of the book, and you have choices on what that final review looks like. So read the syllabus. You can ask me questions about that on Monday. But the choice book list, I think I have around 30 books or so that I'm really passionate about this topic, so that I've either read that have to do with gamification, have to do with learning, have to do with motivation, have to do with thinking differently, looking at school in a different way, the global achievement gap, all kinds of things like that you can choose from. And if you have a book that, and I say it in the syllabus, that you feel you would like to read that's not on my list, I'd like you to share it with me first, get my approval, and if I do like it, I'll throw it on the list as well. So I'm still in the process of building this, because I've changed this course again, and I'm going to continue to tweak this course to hopefully meet the needs of the group that I'm working with. But under the course documents, I've started to house some things here for you as well. I'm going to click on this here, which is the how to create. I'm going to try to use this as sort of a repository for things that you need as far as assignment rubrics if you need to see those. I might host videos here, and put them in the weekly meetings as well. But so how to create a Weebly website is here. That getting to know you pre-course survey, the choice book list. Notice you'll see them in multiple places. I just want to make sure that you have access to everything. We really won't use the discussion board in Blackboard. And the reason that I don't do that is because you will be using your website. You'll be using your website to not only write and reflect about the topics that we're going to be using in this class, but I want you to be writing to an authentic audience, because your websites and the blogs that are going to be attached to them will be public. And I want you to get in the practice of mindfully writing, not only for your peers, but to the public. And I think it'll help you as both future leaders and educators, whichever direction you choose to go in, to feel confident that you can share your ideas and formulate them in such a way that you would proudly display them to a global community. And you'll be giving each other lots of feedback. So anything that we would normally do in a discussion board, you will be writing on your blog, and you'll be commenting each other's blog posts. But they will also be open to the world at large, basically. But I'm not going to be using Blackboard a lot, other than posting announcements in here, and then perhaps having this be a repository week by week on checklists and things that I need to make sure that you're keeping up with. So Blackboard is a place for me to help you stay organized and to communicate with you in terms of announcements. Everything else we do can occur in the Google Plus community, can occur on your websites, and it'll make more sense the more we actually get into the doing of this. So I wanted to run that by you. As far as the text that you'll read in the syllabus, a couple things, and hopefully you are all going to listen to this. I put together a quick list of the books that I'm requiring, which is besides the $2.99 Will Richardson book, this book called A New Culture of Learning. And notice I found it on Amazon for $11. Show Your Work by Austin Kleon, $7. This one, and What Do You Mean by Learning, is a new text for me. And I noticed that brand new, it was like $30. Buy it used or wait on buying it. You don't need to buy this right away. We won't use it for a few weeks at the earliest. And the 20 Time Project, How Educators Can Launch Google's Formula. Don't buy this yet if you haven't already, because I know the author, and I think he's going to get me a bulk deal that will get these for us cheaper than $16.99. So, but even if I just wanted to show you that I know it seems like a lot that I'm requiring, but all of the books together that I could find on Amazon would be less than $50. So I think your law text was a lot more than that. So it's a lot of shorter books, smaller readings, but I think you'll find these not only interesting, but also very enjoyable. So just a quick look at that. And I want to then give you a little preview of the expectations that I have of your website and the blog that accompanies it, and to give you sort of a glimpse into your future. I showed this a little bit in the orientation, but I want to go into one of the Cohort 1's websites just to show you why we do what we do and why I really like it. So this is Michelle's from Cohort 1, and she's awesome. But the website itself, what I'm asking you to do is, you're creating this in Weebly. You will have a splash page, and hers says hello here. Click on that. And the splash page is basically the page where you tell people the point of the website, what it is you're doing. And I'll show you later, we will also be embedding Twitter widgets of both the whole cohort, the list here, and of yourself that you can add on your website here. And then the three things that I've asked you to have is a splash page. I want you to have an about page, which is about you as a human being, as a person with or without a family, and who you are as an educator and a person. So that's what the about page is. Feel free to utilize the contact. I'm not going to require it, but you can see in this case Michelle did like that. You can comment right on to her from the website. So at this point, all I needed from you was a splash page, an about me page, and then you're going to be creating a blog for our course. And EDL 630 is what this class was in the first cohort. It's changed a little bit, but it was still me as the professor, and we're going to be doing very similar assignments. So notice that each of the courses that she's taken, not every single one, but many of them also had a blog that accompanied them. So what I really like about this program, the way we're smartly utilizing these websites, is that when Michelle finishes, this website is not only going to have been like this chronicle of her growth and reflection while she went through the program, but it also acts as a portfolio for someone that wanted to get an idea of who she is. And I also like the idea from a programmatic standpoint that if you want to know what our program's about, look at these websites. So EDL 630 is the blog that they wrote for my course. And so you will see that, and it's going to be different this semester for us, but just give you a feel for some of the things that you would do on your blog. And so that blog is short for weblog, which is basically a chronological journal, as you, if you will, or a log of your thoughts and activities, and they are archived. So really at this point, that is almost everything that you need. I want you to notice from Michelle's splash page, and this is one thing that we will be doing, is adding links to the social media that we use. And so she's using Pinterest to archive her research, and all of you will be using Twitter for various things. So I want to show you her Twitter page. And Twitter, for me, we're using it as an educator, we're using it as a professional. So I imagine the image that you choose, I mean, it doesn't have to be you in a suit, but it's you as you. And you will also, use the bio feature of your Twitter profile. If I click on her name right here, it should take me a little bit closer. What you will have is a bio of who you are, and you will also link to the website that you've created for this course. So there'll be a sense in which Twitter is a way that it allows us access to a very large global audience. And so you want to make sure that you represent yourself well as an educator and a future leader. And so that's why you need to be mindful of the image that you put. You need to be mindful of how you create your bio. So just on quick glance, people can see who she is. And then it's a link to your website. So if somebody's wondering, hey, let me learn a little bit more about you, they should be able to access that from your website. And so for this first week, that's really all I want you to do. So let me recap here. I'll go back to Blackboard. I'll go back to the announcements for you. So what I want you to have accomplished, quite simply, is creating everything that you need to fill out that Getting to Know You survey. So that includes your Weebly website with the splash page, with the About Me page, and with the blog for EDL 680. And that's all I need. Doesn't have to be complete, can be a work in progress, perfectly okay, and we'll talk about that next week. And I will aggregate all of your websites into one spot, so you will be able to easily access each other's websites. The Will Richardson book / essay, I've linked to the Amazon link for you. It's a $2.99 purchase. It's a read that'll take you less than an hour, but it'll sort of set the tone for thinking about school differently and thinking about learning differently. So you don't need to do any, we will be blogging on this, and I will post those blogging expectations by the end of the week if you're the overachiever that wants to get that done over the weekend. But I'm not going to require that it be completed by Monday. I just want you to have read it by Monday so that we can discuss it. And then ensure that you let me know by taking the survey when you would like to meet on Monday. And I will publish the results to the survey and then schedule our meeting next Monday. So ensuring that you have everything for the Getting to Know You survey means you have your website, means you've filled out all the personal information for me, means you've joined the Google Plus community, means that you have your Twitter account and you're starting to make it more of a professional place for you. So there'll be an image in that, there'll be a professional / educator bio, and there will be a link to your website for this course. If you happen to already be a Twitter user and you have another website that you link in there, I would ask for at least the next 11 weeks that you change that to this website so it's easy for your friends and other people that will be looking at your work be able to find your websites that way. So feel free to read over the syllabus. If you have any questions, it would be our Google Plus community. Might be a good place to ask those questions. and make sure you get everything else in order so that when we meet next Monday, we can talk about ways to maximize the use of this Google Plus community. We can talk about the Twitter and getting that set up and make sure you're feeling comfortable with that. We can talk about the Instagram accounts that you're creating. We can talk about purchasing any of the reading. I'll have the definitive answer on the bulk purchase of the 20-time book, which again you won't need for at least 2 weeks, so I'm not overly concerned with getting that out right away. And again, use the community. Send me an email if you have a question that you think you only want to share with me, but I would really like to see you start to help each other, answer each other's questions, join these communities, start sharing your work, and just hopefully you will be in a space that we will be able to really tackle these issues this summer in a fun way, and you'll enjoy yourselves and it won't feel like school. Wouldn't that be awesome? So thank you so much, and I will see you all online Monday.